Hi, boys and girls. Today in reading, we are continuing to talk about story elements. So the very first day, that was Monday, we talked about the characters in a book. And the characters in the book are who the events are happening to, who's living through the book, I guess. So we talked about how animals could be characters, like the duck or the pigeon in some Mo Willems books, or like the bear in the ninja book the other day. That was an animal. And then people, like here's Vincent from Vincent Paints His House. He was a person, or the actual ninja from the ninja book is a person, right? And then we talked about things. I still haven't brought my book Little Tree, but I need to from home. Little Tree is a tree, so it's a thing. It's not an animal or a person, but he was the character in a book that I have at home. And then yesterday, we talked about setting. Setting is where and when the story is happening. Okay, so it could be happening in a pond, at a lake, could be happening at school, could be happening at home. So those are some places. Now the when could mean a lot of things. It could mean like what time of day. Did it happen in the morning? Did it happen in the afternoon? Did it happen, what season? Did it happen in summer? Did it happen in winter? Lots of things with when. Okay, so both of those kind of are the setting. Now today we're going to talk about the plot. The plot is the stuff that happens, like the events, the action. When you just wrote your story, you were the author. And so you told your story to me first. You remember you said the story to me, and then you had to kind of plan it across the pages. So each page should have been a separate event, like this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. Okay? Well, you were doing that as the author. Well, so real authors do that too when they tell their stories. There is a beginning, a middle, and an end. So it's kind of like a roller coaster hill. That's why Mrs. Kimmel drew a roller coaster hill. Okay, in fact, I'm gonna scoot you back a little bit, see if you can see the whole thing. Maybe. Well, there's also, So here's the beginning, right? You're kind of just starting to go up. And the middle is where stuff starts to get interesting, and then zoom, it goes down to the end. All right, so I'm going to read you a great book that has a great beginning, middle, and end. And in this book, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in the middle. And that usually is the way stories are, so it gets kind of confusing. And then there's definitely an end. The beginning's usually small, the middle has a lot going on, and then there's the end. Oops, my poster's starting to fall. Okay, so I'm going to read you this story, and then we're going to talk about the beginning, middle, and end. All right, so let me scoot you back up so you can see my pictures. This book is so fun. It's called Ming Lo Moves the Mountain. It's by Arnold Lobel. So remember, we're going to be talking about what happens in the beginning, middle, and end. So I have to read the whole book first. So be a good listener. Here we go. Ming Lo and his wife lived in a house at the bottom of a large mountain. They loved their house, but they did not love the mountain. You see their house? You see the mountain? Rocks and stones broke loose from the cliffs. They dropped down onto the house of Ming Lo. The roof was full of holes. Clouds formed on the top of the mountain. Heavy rain fell from the clouds onto this roof that was full of holes. The rooms inside were damp and drippy. When the sun did shine, it never warmed the house of Ming Lo. The mountain always cast a dark shadow. The flowers and vegetables in the garden grew thin and sparse. So look. The rocks fell from the top and made holes in their roof. This mountain brings us nothing but unhappiness, said the wife of Ming Lo. So see, this is the wife, and this man is named Ming Lo. Husband, you must move the mountain so that we may enjoy our house in peace. My dear wife, said Ming Lo, how how can one small man, such as I, move a large mountain such as this?" "How should I know?" said his wife. "There is a wise man who lives in the village. Go and ask him." Ming-Lo hurried to the village. When he found the wise man, he said, "I want to move the mountain that is near my house." And the wise man thought for a long time, and wisps of smoke curled from his pipe. Finally, he said, "Go home, Ming-Lo. Cut down the tallest, thickest tree you can find. Push this tree against the side of the mountain with all your strength. This is the way you will move the mountain." Do you guys think this is going to work? Let's see. Ming-Lo ran home. He cut down the tallest, thickest tree that he could find. Ming-Lo and his wife held tightly to the tree. Running as fast as they could, they pushed the tree against the side of the mountain. The tree split in half. Ming-Lo and his wife fell on their heads. The mountain did not move an inch. "Go back to the wise man," said the wife of Ming-Lo. "Ask him to think of another way to move the mountain." Okay, so hitting the mountain with a tree did not work. Again, the wise man thought for a long time. Rings of smoke blew from his pipe. Finally, he said, "Go home, Ming-Lo. Take the pots and pans from your kitchen. Hold a spoon in each one of your hands. With these spoons, hit the pots and pans as hard as you can. Raise your voice in loud shouts and cries. The mountain will be frightened by the noise. This is the way that you will move the mountain." Do you guys think the mountain's going to run away when they bang pots and pans? Ming-Lo ran home, and he took the pots and pans from his kitchen. Ming-Lo and his wife held a spoon in each one of their 4 hands, and they shouted and cried, and they hit the pots and pans as hard as they could. They made a great noise. Flocks of birds flew out of the trees, but the mountain did not move at all. "Go back to the wise man," cried the wife of Ming-Lo. "We must find a way to move the mountain." So banging pots and pans did not work either. Ming-Lo watched as the wise man thought for a very long time. Clouds of smoke billowed from his pipe. Finally, he said, "Go home, Ming-Lo. Bake many cakes and loaves of bread. Bring these to the spirit who lives at the top of the mountain. The spirit is always hungry. He will be happy to receive your gifts. He will grant your every wish. This is the way you will move the mountain." Do you think giving the mountain bread is going to help it move? Ming-Lo ran home with his wife. He baked platters of cakes and baskets of bread, and together they began the steep climb to the top of the mountain where the spirit lived. They felt a strong wind as they struggled up the high cliffs. It whistled and howled. I already read that part. Soon the air was filled with flying cakes and loaves of bread. There was nothing left for the spirit, and the mountain did not move. Without waiting for his wife to say a word, Ming-Lo went quietly back to the wise man. So that way didn't work either. The wind blew them all away. Oh my goodness, look at this. He must really be thinking. "Help me to move this mountain so I may enjoy my house in peace," cried Ming-Lo. And the wise man sat in deep thought for a long, long time. There was so much smoke coming from his pipe that he could barely be seen. Finally, he said, "Go home, Ming-Lo. Take your house apart, stick by stick. Gather all these sticks that are the pieces of your house. Collect all the things that are your possessions. Bind everything into bundles with rope and twine, and carry these bundles in your arms and on the top of your head. Face the mountain and close your eyes." So he's telling him to take his house apart, take all of his things, face the mountain, and close his eyes. "Having done all of this," said the wise man, "you will step to the dance of the moving mountain. You will put your left foot in a place that is in the back of your right foot, and then you will put your right foot in a place that is in the back of your left foot. You must do this again and again for many hours. When you open your eyes, you will see that the mountain has moved far away." "This is a strange dance," said Minglo, "but if it makes the mountain move, I will do it at once." Can you figure out what he's actually telling him to do? I think you will on the next page. Minglo ran home. He took his house apart stick by stick. He gathered all of the sticks and collected all of the things that were his possessions. Minglo and his wife bound everything into bundles with rope and twine. They carried the bundles in their arms and on the tops of their heads. And then Minglo showed his wife how to do the dance of the moving mountain. They faced the mountain and closed their eyes, and carefully they began to move their feet to the steps of the dance. So do you see how they completely took their house apart? And they have all of their stuff, and they're facing the mountain and slowly taking steps backwards. Look at them. They each put their left foot in a place that was behind their right foot, and then they each put their right foot in a place that was behind their left foot. The neighbors saw Minglo and his wife walking backwards across the fields with all of their possessions. It was an odd sight, and they watched in wonder. Can you see them? They're slowly walking backwards away from the mountain. Do you think they realize that they're walking backwards? Because their eyes are closed. After many hours had passed, Minglo and his wife opened their eyes. "Look!" cried Minglo. "Our dance has done its work. The mountain has moved far away." And stick by stick, they rebuilt their house. They unpacked all of their possessions and made themselves at home. Minglo and his wife lived the rest of their lives under an open sky and a warm sun. When rain fell, it came down gently on a roof that had no holes. They often looked at the mountain that was small in the distance. There was happiness in their hearts, for they both knew that they had made the mountain move. Well, I think you and I know that they actually did not move the mountain. They just moved their house, didn't they? Oh, silly people. Okay, so let's talk about what happened in the beginning, middle, and end of this book. Okay, because this is what you're going to be doing on your own. So in the beginning of this book, Minglo and his wife were not happy with their house, right? They did not like it being right underneath the mountain. So that's the beginning. Minglo and his wife did not like living under the mountain. In the middle is all the different things that they tried to move the mountain, right? They went to the wise men over and over and over again, and they kept asking him what to do. And they tried a lot of things, right? They tried baking bread. They tried, what did they try? They tried banging pots and pans. They tried hitting the mountain with a stick. None of that stuff worked, right? That's the middle, all the things that they tried, okay? The end is how they solved the problem. The end is when they decided to start walking backwards away from the mountain and rebuilt their house further away. That is the end of the book, all right? So I'm going to be having you look at a book from Epic. I might pick one that reads aloud to you, or you could have a grown-up read you the book, but I want us all reading the same book. And on the page, I'm going to have a B, an M, and an E. A B, an M, and an E. And I want you to draw a picture and write a sentence about what happened in the beginning, the middle, and the end of the book, okay? I want you to use the book I pick because I'm going to try to pick one that will make this easy. All right? Okay. Happy reading.